Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Johnny and Chanel begin their honeymoon at the Horton cabin, and Kristen rages over Holly at the cantina with Abe. Paulina grievances about having to eat so healthy when all she wants is a bear claw. She's thankful for her forthcoming iodine treatment, but she hates that she has to be an insulation down from him. Johnny waits for Chanel in the square, where he presents her with the key to the Horton cabin. They're starting their mini honeymoon moment. She tells him she has to work. He agrees it can stay, but deliberately smiles when she heads for the bakery. Holly sulks into the Demera living room, ignoring EJ. He reminds the teen she needs to learn her assignment about doing medicines. She pouts about not being suitable to see Tate and blames EJ for blowing everything out of proportion from the morning. It's all his fault. Further, Eric demands answers from Sloane outside the Salem Inn. Kristen reads about Stefan's arrest on her phone. What the hell? EJ stomps through the square on his phone, desperately trying to move Mr. Shin that he has everything under control. Kristen interrupts. Why did she have to find out from the Spectator that one of her sisters locked up her other family while her youthful family published a story about it in the paper? Where does this leave Demera Enterprises? EJ assures her it'll be fine and dashes down. From a table, Johnny stops EJ as he hurries once. He tells his anxious father that he'll be at the cabin for a couple of days, and also asks about Stefan. EJ urges him not to worry and to enjoy his honeymoon. He runs off. Further, 911 star fires back at haters in the domain. Tripp tells Wendy it was nice to feel normal again by going back to work. Wendy's not sure when she'll do that herself. Tripp opens his duffel bag for boxing gloves. You're going to punch me, he tells her. When she balks, he points out that physical exercise can help with her PTSD. Indulging him, Wendy impresses Tripp with her punches. She's a brown belt in Taekwondo. At the apartment, Ava answers the phone to Clyde, who has a job he needs her to do. When she refuses, he threatens to expose her involvement in the medicine business. Ava would rather situate her burrow in jail than do anything with him again. Clyde threatens to tell Harris how he got out of captivity. All he wants is for her to find his book of dealers and suppliers that Gil hid in the bistro. It's the only trail back to him. However, he'll move his operation away, and she'll no way hear from him again, if he gets it. She declares it's the last thing she'll do for him, and also she's out. Further, first look at Ryan Seacrest on Wheel of Fortune. Chanel returns to Johnny in the square after discovering he arranged for her staff to cover for her. He assures her he's tete-a-tete paying them time and half and that they'll only be gone while Paulina's in insulation. They'll be back as soon as she gets out. On board, Chanel can't stay to spend time alone with the sexiest hubby in the world. She also delivers bear claws to Paulina, made with diet-approved constituents. Further, when Days will say farewell to Doug, Johnny interrupts Holly daydreaming about Tate at the manse. She fills him in on not being allowed to see Tate, who she's surely not in love with, but does really like. She blames herself for making a mess out of everything. Johnny assures her it'll soon be nothing but a bad memory. When he mentions his honeymoon, Holly says how happy she's for them. She hopes she can find what they've eventually. He knows she will, but urges her not to rush it. After Johnny leaves to pack, Rachel finds Holly to play nails like they used to. After they give themselves manicures, Kristen comes home and sends Rachel to her room. She also orders Holly down from her son, rail at her for doing medicines, and letting Tate take the rap. That's enough, a returning EJ bellows. He instructs Kristen not to talk to Holly like that. The siblings argue, and Kristen stomps out. Holly thanks EJ for having her back. He tells her to let him know if Kristen gives her any further trouble. Further, John Capellos addresses Constantine's accentuation after Tripp and Wendy race back to the apartment. Wendy checks her phone. She shows Tripp the composition on Stefan. When Ava joins them in the living room, Tripp wonders why she's not behind bars as well. She lies that Stefan felt bad about what happened to them. She announces she's making a fresh launch, beginning with a new job and a new place to live. When she quips newlyweds need their space, Wendy and Trip flash back to swapping promises in the beer tank. Ava asks if they'll make it sanctioned. Perhaps, they say, but for now, it's on the reverse burner. Anyhow, Ava knows they need their space. Further Gloria Loring brings Liz Chandler back to Salem latterly. Trip meets with Abe and Paulina in a sanitarium room. Before she goes to the room to take her radioactive lozenge, an anxious Paulina shares a moment with Abe. He embraces her and blows a kiss before leaving. Paulina sighs and sits on the bed alone. Johnny carries Chanel into the cabin, where they look forward to being as loud as they want. After Johnny gets wood for a fire, from a wood pile, not by mincing it himself, they get romantic on the settee.